What's going on, everybody? Riley Welch from the Riley M Welch Presents. Today we have a great artist, great up-and-coming artist out of Alberta. He just released a brand new single after 2 years called Last Time Last. It's a great conversation, but before we get into the interview, make sure you like and subscribe to the youtube.com/Riley M Welch. A lot more content coming your way with the 92 Social Podcast and the Riley M Welch Presents. It's going to be a great ride, and I want you to come with me. And while you're doing that, make sure you check out all the social medias for Devin and myself. They'll be linked down below. So let's check it out. What's going on, everybody? It's Riley Welch. Welcome to the Riley M Welch Presents. Today, I am finally meeting this guy. We met over social media, I want to say a few years ago, and now we're finally talking. So, ladies and gentlemen, Devin Cooper, what's going on, buddy?
Not too much. How are you doing, man?
Not bad. Finally, man. It's been a while.
It has been a while. This is crazy. It's we've been interacting online and liking and comment, and I feel like I know you. Yet we've never had an in-person conversation or actually talked or met.
Dude, that's how I feel right now. Because I'm like, I know you played in Banff. And I'm like, how do I know that? I didn't even talk to you. This is weird.
Yeah, exactly.
Right
Crazy what social media does.
Social media, dude. It's a wonderful thing, but it's a double-edged sword sometimes. But
no kidding.
Yeah, so we met over social media, and I noticed that you're a huge truck guy or car guy, and you have this one truck. And good God, it is a beauty truck. It's a GMC, right?
Yeah, you betcha.
Yeah, so just looking at that, I feel inspired with anything that I'm doing, and I can only imagine with songwriting and all that. So, do you have any good stories of maybe you're driving down the road with it and you're like, song idea, or anything along those lines?
Totally, all the time, because it's actually crazy. It only has an AM radio in it, so I don't get radio. Basically, there's no radio in it. So when I'm driving, all I'm doing is thinking. There's never that distraction of listening to music or doing things like that. So all it is just driving and thinking. And I would have to say probably 90% of my song ideas come out of driving, whether I'm driving and I see something or I think of something in the past, or if it's because it's you're just in that moment where you have time, space to think. There's no other distractions. You're just focused on the road and thinking. And it's like meditation almost. Listening to the engine hum and you're just cruising down the road.
How long have you had that?
I've had that one about 3.5 years. This is the third summer with it.
Oh man, that is a beauty.
So.
Yeah, I'm not gonna jinx myself. Not jinx it, but that's sweet, man. So do you have do you name your cars or?
So it's funny. I don't name them personally, but I had a teacher in high school that used to name, because I was driving something different every summer, every winter.
Oh yeah, you're one of those guys, eh?
I always had something different, and she always named them. And we're friends on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff now.
Yeah.
And whenever I get something new, she always comments the new name for it. So she has named my truck Peggy Sue.
Okay, are you fine with that?
I'm okay. It's yellow. The truck's yellow, and it kind of I could see it. I would initially anticipate a 50s car being called Peggy Sue.
Yeah.
Not like a 71 truck.
Yeah.
But I don't make that decision. She makes that decision, and that's what she decided. So
that was such a car guy answer. Yeah, it's not like a 55 Chevelle or anything. It's just a 71 truck, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For me, I'm sure. Yeah, cool.
You betcha. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So recently you've been doing the Basement Burner live stream concert. How's that going? And where did that come from?
It's cool. I started doing those kind of when quarantine kicked off, and the whole world was shutting down, because I spent I had 210 shows basically across Canada last year, and spent the whole year on the road traveling and playing and meeting people and doing all these things. And all of a sudden that just came to an end. And it's for me, I live to play live. That's what does it for me. It's writing songs and then being able to go play them live.
Yeah.
And with that just completely gone and shut down, I had to find some way to still put out that creative energy that I'm doing. And it's like, in a way, it's kind of cool because I can play for, if you're watching in Ontario or if there's people in Australia watching or wherever it is, and it's like, it's kind of cool because I can play for everyone no matter where they're at. And if you can't tune in that night, you can tune in the next week. And it was a great place to hang out and interact with a lot of people that maybe I hadn't got the chance to interact with yet because they hadn't been able to come to a show. So
Yeah.
it kind of fulfilled a couple things that weren't able to happen, the live show thing, and then just meeting new fans, getting that conversation started, and talking with some people and having fun.
Man, yeah, it's a great way to connect. It's a great way to get your music out. And like you were saying, like I can listen in Ontario. There's people in the States, Nashville, all that. It's really a great avenue of producing and or promoting your music. But since you said that you've been like last year, you're like over 200 shows. What was that one other than the question I'm going to ask after this? What is the best venue you played? Maybe it's like something that you didn't think it would be great until you kind of experienced it.
That's tough. There's so many great venues in Alberta. I feel bad just like saying that, like, well, everywhere you go, like not just Alberta, but there's one show in particular that was probably the coolest show. And it was in a place called Bow Island, which is a tiny little town, like 3 or 4 hours south of Calgary, in the middle of nowhere. I think it's like 500 or 600 people in this little town, but they have an old theater that they turned into a live music venue. And this theater is from like the late 1800s, early 1900s. So it's like the stepped up floor in it, and then the drop down dance floor before the stage kind of thing.
Yeah.
And all they do is like blues music there. And that's what I grew up playing. And so I got a chance to go out there and open for a band. And there was 300 people sold out, packed into this old theater with creaky floors, not even everything. And just like the atmosphere and the feeling and how like the environment lit up. And it's like, it was like this old theater had never died. It was like, just kept on living.
Man, I think, you're right. Those venues are always the best. I meant like I've seen Kip Moore at like the small venues here in Toronto, and I still remember to this day. It's just the atmosphere. It's everything that kind of comes in together. Just adds that extra level of experience. Is insane. On that note, I did see on your social that you were playing in Banff, and the Fairmount, was it?
At the Banff Fairmont Springs Hotel.
Damn, man. Those posts, I was like, I want to move. That made me want to move to Calgary just because of that.
It's crazy.
Like,
we're going from a 120-year-old theater to, well, a 120-year-old hotel, which is one of the it's like the fanciest hotels and one of the fanciest in Western Canada, if not more than that.
Yeah.
And it's cool. It's a really cool place to play. You get to hang out for the weekend, all this beautiful scenery. And it was a little bit different this time because of like the world kind of being at a pause. But normally you get to meet people from all over the world there. I've met people from San Diego and Europe. And that's another cool thing, is like you never know who's going to be coming through there. Make connections, make some new friends. And it's just like, it's a really cool place to hang out, as well as like the most beautiful place in the world you could spend some time.
Oh man, it is. I've been there a few times, and it's just one of those things where I'll never forget it. It's so like, I've been there in the summer and there's a winter. Winter. Like, it's two different, like for me, it's two different things, but they're both like,
unbelievable either way.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Looks like a picture. It's like it's a painting.
Oh, dude,
it can't be real.
Like it's in, like I remember I was driving. I think I stopped in Canmore, and at this bar, I forgot the name of. I think some of the anyways, it was I was on the patio, and I'm just looking at the mountains. I'm like, this can't, like, again, a Toronto guy. I'm like, this can't be right. Something's wrong. It's like, it looks fake. It looks so fake. I don't know if
I know
locals think that, but like I'm like, it looks fake. It's so
no,
beautiful.
even with it being half an hour, 45 minutes away from me, like when you go out there,
Yeah.
you just stand there and you like just look around, and my mind is blown every time, even though it's only half an hour away or an hour away from where I'm living.
Man,
So,
do you picture yourself being like in the mountains or like for life, or do you want to move like to Nashville? Like, is that like,
Nashville,
yeah,
I think it'd be cool to be able to split the time, because it's like all my family's up here,
yeah.
as well as like I love Alberta, but at the same time, I will do anything to stay away from winter. So
Oh
if I
God, yeah, dude.
if
100.
I can
Yeah.
if I can spend some time like down south, nice warm southern states, even in the winter, it's like even if it's 5 or 10 degrees, it's not -40,
Dude,
and
anything beats -40.
I can handle that. So I think like there'd be a good split we could make happen.
Yeah. So you said you went to Nashville before,
Yeah,
recently. How was that, man?
it was unbelievable. It was I went at the start of February,
Yeah.
and I was down there for about 8 days. Wrote 10 songs in the 8 days I was down there,
Attaboy.
and it was just giving her the whole time. And wrote with some new people this time, which was awesome. Made some new connections. Just went down by myself. Normally I go with a couple guys or whatever, and it was kind of a last minute thing put together. So I just flew down there, rented a car, and hung out for a week and wrote a bunch. And we actually ended up writing my next single on this last trip, which is kind of cool.
So let's talk about that. Last coming out Friday. What if it's being released? It'll be coming out today. Tell us about it, man.
Yeah, it's exciting for me. I've been spent the last 2 years writing and writing and writing. I've written over 150 songs since my last release,
Yeah.
and it's been 2 years since I put something out, and now we're finally there. And it's kind of a different side of me. It's a lot more vulnerable than any of my other stuff that I put out before, and kind of shows a new side, and it's a lot more personal. So I think it's going to introduce the fans to another side of me that they probably haven't seen before.
Ooh. Oh, look at that, eh?
It's
Oh, nice
it
selling
was
point there.
it was about a relationship that I was in, actually,
Oh.
and how it's kind of funny. We wrote the song February 4th,
Mm-hmm.
before anything had gone crazy in the world. It was all normal, everything's fine. And we wrote the song about a relationship, and how I kind of wished that I would have made the moments in the relationship last a bit longer, and I would have held on a bit longer,
Yeah.
and not kind of taken it for granted. And I think since we've got to this point where we're all at right now, it just speaks to so many more different things. Whether that's like I didn't hug my grandparents for 4 months. It's like I would have hugged them if I would have known that I wasn't going to be able to hug them for the next 4 months. Or it's like I would have hung out with that friend, and all these things. And it speaks to so much more than that, especially with what we're going through right now. So I think it's cool that it kind of started out about a relationship and has since taken on this whole other life since then, because of what we're all going through.
Exactly. And yeah, just going off what you're saying, where it's more intimate, it's more, comes from the heart. Is there any in music, is there any lyric or lyrics that kind of hold close to you that you kind of take into like maybe like a songwriting session that can produce your next single?
Yeah, there's a couple things. There's like I'll have two lyrics for you that I love. I think as a songwriter, it always changes.
Yeah.
Every time you hear something new, it's like that really speaks to me. One, kind of like on a lighter note, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. It's a grind.
It's a beauty lyric. Yeah.
And I think it's true for anything in life.
Yeah,
Going to get to the top, it's a long way to the top. You got to work. It's just
it's yeah, that lyric is, you were saying it's fun, but it is true, man.
Totally.
You got, like you're saying, lay the groundwork, and then you'll party later on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And another one that actually really hit me recently is on the new Kip Moore record. One of the lyrics on there.
Don't get me started. Oh man.
Are you as big a Kip Moore fan as I am?
Yeah. Okay. What?
One of the lyrics that hit me when I heard it. I got like goosebumps when I heard it. Is my life's a credit card.
Oh,
Play now, pay
now,
later, and I'm
let's go.
paying hard.
Yes.
And it's like that's way too true for everyone. I think everybody can relate to that.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
I'll worry about it later. I'll worry about it later. I'll worry about it later. And I think that almost kind of relates to the last thing, where it's just like, well, I'll get it another time. I'll do it another time. I'll do it another time. And sometimes there isn't another time.
Dude, yeah, you said it, man. Like, have you seen? Okay. Have you seen? Obviously, you've seen it. Like, how many? Like, what was like for me? I can pick moments in the Kim Moore show where it is for me like personal, professional, where it kind of changes, and like that lyric, prime example. Like, have you like? I'm guessing you've seen Kip live, right?
I have.
Oh man, have you seen him with Kip Moore? Have you seen him with Kip Moore? I'm smart. Have you seen him with Drake White?
I have not seen him with Drake White.
Dude, it's like
I saw him with the Cadillac 3 for the first time.
Okay. Even better. Yeah.
And a crazy thing about that is I think I was about 18 years old, and I wasn't really in the like country scene yet. I was kind of in the rock scene. Sorry, I'm deviating here. I get on a tangent.
Let's go. Let's get it.
And I was kind of more in the rock scene still. That's where my roots grew up or whatever. But all my stories were always all my songs were stories. Sorry. And I hadn't really transferred kind of into the country world yet. My buddy was like, "Hey, I think you should come to the show tonight." And I was like, "Who is it?" He's like, "I think you'll like them." And I was like, "Well, what is it?" He's like, "It's a country show." And I was like, "Man, I don't know if I want to go." And he's like, I was like, "Who is it?" He's like, "It's a guy named Kip Moore, and then the band that's opening is the Cadillac 3. I was like, "I've never heard of either of those guys." I was like, "I don't know who they are."
Concert?
And I walk into the bar of Cowboys in Calgary, and I like walk in, and it's all dirty and people bar, and and I look on stage, and there's two Marshall Stacks, and I'm like, okay, like guitar player, Marshall Stacks, rock and roll. This is piquing my interest. Like,
all right, yeah.
They haven't started yet, and I'm like, interesting. And then these three long-haired dudes walk out on stage and hit this like big loud chord, and like drums go smashing, and I'm just like, this is country? It's like,
yeah.
Okay. It's like I haven't been exposed to this before. I hadn't seen this because it's like I would have heard what was on the radio prior or whatever, and I'd just never taken the time to really like study or get into the genre and really appreciate it for what it was. And so like the Cadillac 3 played, and I'm like mind blown sitting there just like, what just happened? Because I can't believe it.
Yeah.
And then Kip Moore comes out, and I'm like, motorcycle, cars, all that kind of stuff. And he's wearing like an Indian motorcycle t-shirt. And I'm like, okay, this guy seems all right. And he's got a bottle of Jack Daniels in his hand. I'm like, okay. I'm like, it's getting better. And then he put on an unbelievable show. And it was literally that day that changed my life to like diving into the country scene.
Dude, like that's the perfect show for you to get introduced.
Totally.
I couldn't believe what you were saying. I'm like, that was your first country show?
Like it had to be meant to be. It had to be meant to be.
It had to, man. Because like that is, if I would have to pick like a country show for you, let's say, or for a rocker that's kind of looking for a new genre, it's definitely the Cadillac 3. Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down,
Totally.
like first and end all. That followed that with Kip Moore. It's
yeah.
Oh, dude,
so
that's awesome.
That was a game changer for me.
Yeah, no, because like I've seen Cadillac 3, and I didn't know what to expect out of them until then the first song. I'm like, oh Jesus, like they're after it. The first song, like, bang.
Oh yeah,
and it was like, whew, okay,
yeah,
all right, yeah, it piqued my interest too. Yeah. So
no doubt.
Safe to say, Kip Moore is definitely a huge influence.
Huge.
Yeah. So is there any other artists in your mind where you kind of take in maybe more of like the softer side? Because you did mention that your song last time is also, it's a softer feel to you. So do you have any influence when it comes to that?
I think just in general, like there's so many like great artists, whether it's Cadillac 3 or Kip Moore, or Stapleton or Brothers Osborne, where they all have that rock edge to them, but then they can like pull it back a little bit, and that just pulls you into them even more.
Yeah.
And I think that whether it's like the softer Kip Moore stuff, or even like the Cadillac 3 has some soft stuff, and Stapleton and Eric Church, and
yeah.
so like all those guys, they're kind of on like the edge of the outlaw rock and roll country stuff. They all have that soft side of them, and I think that in terms of country, that's where I pull that from. And like growing up on like Leonard Skinner and ZZ Top and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Those guys all had soft songs too. And it's just, I think it's a giant collaboration of everything I've listened to growing up, and all my influences kind of like coming together to the sound now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Like we have the same, I can already tell we have the same like musical taste.
Yeah, totally.
Have you seen Church live?
I have not.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, like as much as I love Kip Moore, like that was a great concert. The best concert I've ever been to is Church, and it's one of those guys. Even looping in Kip Moore, I would every time they're in town. I don't care how much it is, I'm seeing them because it's like they leave. See, like Kip Moore in the theater has that experience, and when I saw Church, it was at the ACC or the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, where I'm like going in there. I don't know, man. It's an arena show. It loses its kind of feel, but I'm telling you, man, Church brings it, man. And it's, again, you were saying he has that rock and roll, but when like Carolina comes in, it's like he has the whole place quiet, and I'm like, this is the Scotiabank, and it's quiet. It's crazy. But no, yeah, see, like again, I can go off a tangent too, man.
Totally. I don't know. Did you hear about the Eric Church show when he came to Calgary a few years ago?
No.
So we have the Saddle Dome, right? So the building's in a big saddle, and there was too much snow on the roof, so the building couldn't handle his stage setup. So they couldn't put up the band, they couldn't do up anything. So he put a stage in the middle of the sold-out Saddle Dome and grabbed his acoustic guitar and played his entire show as an acoustic broke-down show by himself with no one else to the entire Saddle Dome. And it's like, I so wish I would have gone to that show. But it's just cool how, like, guys like that, they're so talented. They can play sold-out stadiums with a band with the biggest production. Or it's like, we can't do the production tonight. I'll just set up a stage and grab my acoustic.
But that's the sign of a true musician. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because you get that every now and then, that like experience where, you know, some artists or bands will be like, no, we can't do it. I need that. Or I need the lights. I need more of the setup. But the true and like awesome artists will like, screw it, I'll grab my guitar, let's get it. Because I had that experience at Boots and Hearts. Like this is 4 years ago, when before Chris Stapleton blew up. It was I think he just wrote Drink a Beer for Luke. I think that was that time. And I didn't know who he was at this point in time. And it was like every Boots and Hearts, there's always like a day that's like terrible for some reason. Yeah. And it was that day where they couldn't work the like all these speakers, mics are done. They couldn't do it. There's thunderstorms. So he's like, you know what? Screw it. He grabbed the mic. What is that? A microphone, I guess. I don't know.
Microphone. Yeah.
Whatever. I don't care. And then he grabbed his acoustic guitar and he just started playing. And it was just one of those moments in time where, like, I don't know who this guy is, but I know it's something good. It's something. Yeah. It's a sign of something great. And then sure enough, a few years down the road, he's collaborating with Justin Timberlake. It's insane.
Selling out stadiums all wherever he goes. And
it's like, this is why I love music, man. Like that.
Totally. It's about those moments. It's about those moments and feeling, whether it's the old crooked barn floor or whether it's like the beer coming up through the floor and the smoker in the back or whatever it is. It's like, or it's like the stadium show that you get a guy with his acoustic guitar and that's it. And it's like, you never know what's going to happen. And that's the beauty of it.
You know what? On that note, we'll leave it on that note, because that's a perfect way of saying it. So today, your single, is released, where can people find it?
You can check it out on all my socials. There's a link to stream it. It's on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon Music, wherever you get your music. Shazam it if you hear it on the radio or something.
Yeah.
My socials are at Devin Cooper Music. And so Facebook, Instagram at Devin Cooper Music, website, devincoopermusic.com, Twitter's at Devin Cooper Live. Send me a follow, send me a message. Let me know what you think of the tune. I'll hit you up. We'll have a conversation, and I'd love to hear what you think.
Wow. I didn't have to ask the question. Perfect. All right, dude. Thanks very much for coming on the Riley M Welch Presents. It's an honor. Finally, we can get to talk kind of face to face.
Kind of face to face.
Kinda. But yeah, it's been a few years coming, and yeah. Everyone check out his new single that's out today. His social media and my social media will be down below. Yeah, man, let us know. What do you think of the song? Because I'll definitely come back with my review. And with that being said, guys, have a great day. Take care.
Cheers, man. Thanks.
Thanks, Devin, for coming on the Riley M Welch Presents. I love chatting about Kip Moore, rock and roll, and why we love music. This is a great conversation of how we fell in love with country music. So make sure, like I said in the beginning of the video, make sure you like and subscribe to youtube.com/Riley M Welch for more content that will be coming your way. And make sure you check out Devin's brand new single. It's out everywhere. Last Time Last is a great song, new side of Devin, and it is great. It's great to hear new music, am I right? So make sure you check that out, and we'll see you soon. Take care.